Hello, everybody. Okay, hi, Charlene. And our guest today is John Lombardi from Tabletop Recraft. How are you doing, John?
Good. How you doing?
All good, thank you. Thank you so much for accepting this interview. And I've been following your channel for a very long time now.
Oh,
So,
great. Appreciate it.
so would you like to start by introducing yourself, maybe telling us a bit about non-crafting, John, before we get back into crafting and so on?
Yeah, sure. So John Lombardi, the channel is Tabletop Witchcraft, and geez, I think it's been about 4.5 years now. I've been running the channel, and we can get into a little bit later about how the channel started. But it's just something I really enjoy doing, and my love of crafting started a long time ago. I look a lot younger than I am. I'm actually 44. And when I was 10 years old for Christmas, this one game that I wanted, everybody that follows me on my Patreon knows Hero Quest, just like
Oh, okay.
Max DM Crafting, it's his love, right? Same with me. I absolutely love Hero Quest. I actually have the original Hero Quest board in a
Nice.
picture frame in my gaming room.
Yeah, I think that's been a
Um,
gateway drug for many people in the hobby.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So, I put some cash and bought the new Hero Quest gaming system that came out. So I've got all those. But anyway, when I was 10, that's all I wanted for Christmas. I ended up getting it, and that's really where my love of tabletop gaming in general came from, outside of shoots and ladders when I was a lot younger. So, and then, obviously the whole fantasy setting, the dungeon crawl is just something that I've always loved. So there was that. And then once I got a little bit older and I got into reading the Lone Wolf series by Joe
Oh,
Deaver,
I
I'm not
remember
sure if you're
that.
familiar with
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Absolutely love that book series. I've read the entire series, every book, twice through. So I'm sure I'll do it again at some
yeah.
point.
I
Um,
binged them when I was 14 or 15, I think, and
yeah,
I recently found them again on the internet. Basically, they're republished as web pages, which makes it quite easier
Project
than
Aeon,
flipping.
I think
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, yeah. That's the one.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's
yeah,
beautiful
yeah, it's
stuff.
great. So it's yeah, I just enjoy that. And then, I'm a lot older than my brother. I have a younger brother, and he started getting into tabletop gaming, the whole RPG setting. But again, he's a lot younger than me, so his was the video games. So I introduced him to Lone Wolf, and now he's our DM. So he DMs for us. But unfortunately, I guess fortunately and unfortunately, he actually just got accepted into med school. So he's
Oh,
leaving.
congratulations.
Yeah, but he's leaving in 2 months, and then that's it. So we're not gonna have a DM anymore. Anybody out there that wants to DM for me, let me know. But we're trying to find a way to have him do it virtually, but I don't know how that's gonna work out with med school. So, but yeah, so that was it. You just rolling through that, and then once I played through all the Hero Quest boards, all the quests they had, that's when I started crafting myself. I started doing my own quests. I started making little pieces that would fit just with cardboard and paper that would fit onto the Hero Quest boards. My own little pits and traps, and I would draw stuff on paper and lay them over the squares. And yeah, but art has always been something that I've loved. I think every medium I've dabbled in, oil painting, acrylic, sculpting, you name it, I've done it. So yeah.
Nice. So, was that something? Was all this crafting stuff something that factored into your choice of profession eventually?
To my profession,
Yeah, because
um,
you eventually you're a civil engineer, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I am, yeah. So
Yeah.
I have a degree in civil engineering. Honestly, maybe subconsciously it did. So I love the outdoors.
Hmm.
I'm not really a big behind the desk person. Um, and back in the day, I actually wanted to be, believe it or not, I wanted to be a game warden.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, and then I actually got accepted into college for occupational therapy, nursing, a couple of things. I branched out,
Yeah, so
and
it's
I actually ended up going.
very diverse.
Yeah, I like the whole public servant type thing, I guess, because they all fall into that spectrum, you
Hmm.
know. Um, but I ended up going to college for chemical engineering, and I did 1 year as a chemie, and I hated chemistry. So I was like, this is not the profession for me. And so I started thumbing through the books. I love designing. I love being outside. So civil engineering is where I ended up, and it's definitely helped me with the channel because anybody that follows me on YouTube, you know that almost everything you see in the background here,
Okay, let me
if it's
just.
a structure, you can buy plans for it online. Some of them are free, but you can buy plans and you can use those to build along with me on the YouTube channel. So I find them to be very helpful. And I don't just, design them so that people can build along and watch my videos. I actually use them myself when I'm making each one of these builds. So you might be watching one of my YouTube videos and then buy the plans, and they might be a little bit different. That's because I've designed the plans and I'm the first one ever to use them. So I might find a little something that needs to be tweaked, and I'll do that. And then you have a good set of plans before you buy them online. So you can find them too. I had them on a website. You can go to my website, www.tabletopwitchcraft.com.
Let me
It's a
just bring
fun
it up
site.
so I
Everything I have, yeah,
paste it on there. So one
everything
sec.
that is, yeah,
So it's www.tabletopwitchcraft. Is that right?
.com. Yep.
Okay. So go on. I'm
And
just going to look
everything,
it up.
sure, yeah. Everything that's in my shop or studio that even that you see in my videos, I've uploaded there. So all the products that I use specifically, you can find them. I used to upload them in the description of the YouTube videos, but that became a lot of work. And then, certain Amazon links will no longer work, and then
Okay.
there's problems with that. So,
There we go. Just posted the link to your site in the chat.
thanks.
Okay. In the meantime, hi Questboard Train and Dungeon Mating. Good to see you. Dungeons and
Hey, how you
Chronics
doing?
says hello. One sec. Where did I put that thing? Oh, here. So
Do you have a way of listing who's in the chat?
I'm just following through the chat itself.
Nice. Dungeons and
Okay.
Chronics, nice.
And Earthman Brick. Hi, Steve. So, Dungeons and Chronics is saying, I've seen the coaster and other things you did for Professor Dungeon Master. That was cool. And Earthman Brick is asking, you've done several collabs with Gerard Boom. Have you got any further collabs planned?
Ooh, yeah, let's touch on that one real quick.
Oh yeah, let's do.
Yeah. So actually, I just maybe 20 minutes before or half an hour before this started, I just got done talking to Gerard, and yes, he is coming back this July, and he's going to visit me. His wife's coming this time. So they're going to come, and also David from Terraintronics will be here. He's flying in from Texas, and we're going to do a 2 or 3 videos, try and put some content together for the channel. Gerard's going to do some content for his channel, and David might do the same. So yeah, we're going to definitely put some more content out. Probably you'll see it maybe in August
Nice.
from that visit. But something I do want to mention, and I guess we can do it now, or you can throw it in the chat that this is a thing. But I'm trying to put my feeler out there. We almost tried to pull it off this year, but the timing was just way too tight. For next year to have David and Gerard Boom both come back and visit in the summer and run a workshop, a 2 or 3 day workshop for people to come up, grab a hotel, and we'll rent a little space out, and we can have a really fun workshop where I can show the overall picture of how I craft and what I do, Gerard's techniques for working with foam, and David's techniques with lighting.
I mean,
So yeah,
that
if,
does
if you think
sound
that might
absolutely
be a cool
amazing.
thing, or you want to check it out, let me know in the comments. That'd be cool.
Okay, we've already got some responses from Dungeon Matron who's saying that would be sweet.
Yeah,
But yeah, anyone else, encourage John to make that happen. Just drop a message into the chat or the comments and let him know. Okay, Dungeon Matron seems to be very interested in that.
nice.
Okay,
Yeah, I plan on doing like a video. Maybe I might even make a video on my YouTube channel specifically to promoting that event if it seems like it's something we're gonna do. We've reached out to if you know the old Mace convention, I think that was
yes.
in North Carolina. We've reached out to them about grabbing a bunch of their Proxon tables so that we can have them here. They've already offered those for us. So yeah,
Ah,
it's just we want to put something together really solid. I didn't want to rush it this year. So it'll give us a year to kind of plan it out and have something really fun. Maybe depending on the amount of people, we might do something where we can even have a D&D session with everybody at the end of the evening.
I mean, that would be it's a bit far for me, but that's something that I would probably plan for if it was in say 2 years time or something like that.
Enough notice, yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah, I think that's why I said, planning something for 2 months from now probably isn't going to cut it for everybody, you know?
Okay, before we continue, I'm just going to drop the link to the community showcase in the chat. So if anyone wants to show some pieces later on in the stream, there's the link. So going back to your channel, you mentioned that being an engineer had like encouraged you to start the channel or something like that. I didn't quite catch the connection there.
Yeah, so again, it was about 4.5, 5 years ago when the channel started. And I was honestly back in the day when I could actually think I was bored, where I had time on my hands. And not that I was bored, but I just really wanted to craft something. I've seen a lot of people work with foam online, dioramas, all different genres, model railroading. And I wanted to try and create something. So I decided to make a windmill, and I used a program called AutoCAD to design this thing. And I wanted to see if I could, make something that's to scale that I could, recreate or whatever. So I started designing it. I brought it home, and as luck would have it, the day that I started working on it, my brother came over, and he was hanging out with me and just watched me work. He said, you really should put this online and put it on YouTube. I'm like, you think so? And he said, yeah, well, why not? I said, all right. So I stopped what I was doing. I had a little Rebel T1 camera. I had to have different microphones and all this stuff. Not that I don't now. It's amazing how expensive this is to run a channel like this. Um, but yeah, so I just started recording it. I don't really go back and watch any of my videos. Once I upload them to YouTube, I never watch them unless I need to reference something myself, like how did I get that stone texture look or whatever. I'll go back and watch it. But I never watch my videos after they're released, except my windmill. I went back and watched it maybe a month or so ago, and it's interesting, when you go back and kind of see how far you've come. But
Yeah, for sure.
so I put that video out thinking, nobody's gonna watch this. Someone making a windmill out of foam. And if you're familiar with Luke Gaming, he
Hmm.
stopped his channel a couple years ago. He actually commented on that video within 20 minutes of me releasing it. I couldn't believe it. And he posted that video to his group chat and one of his private channels. And I got like 100 subscribers that
Whoa.
first
Okay.
day. I was like, holy cow, this is crazy. So that is what, got me excited and really started this whole, I don't know, this whole journey of YouTube and content creating. So it's been challenging, but it's been fun. So
Okay. So since then, you've been picking up different techniques, different materials, and so on. But is there any particular build that you were particularly fond of, either because it's of the build itself or because of something that happened with it on the table, or anything, any favorite piece?
one of my favorite piece that I've created.
Hmm.
Um, hmm. So, I've got a few. It's hard. It really is hard to pick just one because every time I create something, I'm like, this is my favorite one. This is my favorite one. And I think that's partially because hopefully we all learn when we're crafting, right? Like whether something comes out really bad in our head, um, or really good, you learn from it. You learn from what went wrong, or you learn from what went right. So those are all positives. And hopefully, if we're constantly learning, our techniques get better, and that's what makes that next craft the one that you really like. So we can chat about this build here if you want now, but the creeping hut video that I made, there's so many cool aspects of it, and this is one of my favorite things I've ever made, and it's one of my latest videos. But it comes down to little things like the way the stone turned out for the chimney. Like that's one of the things that makes it to why I like it so much, or the layout of the legs. Those are really cool. All the way down to the little nooks and crannies where I've got little grass tufts and these little crevices that you probably can't even see on camera, but when you're looking at it up close, it's just, I don't know, it's fun, you know?
It's interesting.
Kind of
So
neat.
basically, you're more. Oh, I love those textures. So you're looking at it through the lens of what turned out right in the project rather than the whole project itself, which is absolutely amazing, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. Little tiny things here and there, you know. And as a kind of a perfectionist, I it's a curse and a blessing because certain things, you know, they bother me. I don't know, just kind of keeps you wanting to improve, you know. So, but there's something with every craft I've ever made, I think, where there's one little piece that I'm like, I don't know if I like that, you know, but I don't say anything. My uncle worked in the film industry, and he said, never tell anybody what you don't like,
Okay.
you know, about anything because most people won't notice, you know.
Fair, yeah. I think
So
it's a common theme, I think, with most of the people that I've talked to
thank you,
over the
much more.
years. It's like we're often our own worst critics.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, when I was working on my bathroom, I did a renovation a couple years ago. I finished the entire bathroom. I was all done. All I had to do was mount the toilet paper rack to the wall. And on my last screw, I put the screwdriver through the wall.
Oh,
The last step of like
oh.
months of working, and I put it right. So now my toilet paper rack is just slightly tilted because I had to like, you know, put it below. But nobody notices, but I do. You know, it's one of those things.
Because Bortain is saying that I love that hat. I also enjoy working chimneys. And Dungeons and Chronics is asking, how and when did you come up with the idea to make templates for your builds?
So yeah, I mean, really, the template idea was part of me challenging myself with my very first video. And again, it wasn't even for YouTube because I wasn't planning on doing YouTube. It was just I wanted to make a plan in AutoCAD, right? Because I design things on a much larger scale. My main background is transportation, so I work a lot with roads. I don't get a lot of chance to do structural engineering that much. But so I wanted to challenge myself and design, you know, a windmill. So I did that, and that's when I started, you know, building off of that. So I once I uploaded that and people there was interest and people wanted to download them, that's when I started to really. I mean, if you go and download my windmill plan set, they're free by the way. You can go grab those. Also, my tavern, it's here somewhere. That's a free set of plans you can grab. Those are on Drive Through RPG. Again, you get them through my website. Very, very basic plans. The windmill, it's almost embarrassing. I almost want to take it down, but I left it there for people to go and check out. But if you look in my background or if you can pull up my airship, I
Okay,
actually
coming up.
designed a set of plans for that airship for every single level because that airship comes apart, so you can play like inside the airship. Um, and that was a challenge, you know, trying to get the hull right for people, and you know, people don't want to buy a set of plans and then they don't look right when they're done. So
Oh,
that
okay,
was a
but
challenge, but a fun challenge.
I mean, I still can't get, it's been a few months now and I still can't get over how awesome this looks.
Okay, so while we're on the airship, I would love to talk about what's on the horizon for the airship.
Absolutely.
All right, pun intended with the horizon thing. That joke, can't help it. So a few months ago, I was talking to Scott from Paladin Woodworking. I don't know if anybody out here that has Instagram, you probably have seen his table. It's the Doran's Anvil. It's the octagon table where like, things come up and down out of the middle. It's absolutely amazing. You should check it out. But he works closely with Wormwood Gaming, and I messaged to him, you know, about a month or so ago. I said, "Hey, you know, who's your contact there? Put me in touch with them. I like to just chat with them about what they've got on the horizon." So Bobby, he's one of their media marketing guys, reached out to me and said, "Hey, it's unbelievable that you just contacted me because I'm looking for somebody that could supply some terrain for the new modular gaming table that they're putting out. Actually, just finished up. It wrapped up on Kickstarter." And so I drove all the way down to Taunton, Massachusetts with my catacomb set, my cavern set, a ton of stuff, all kinds of stuff. And they filled this whole table where you can like it's a vault, so you can go into the table. They filled it with this huge dungeon, and it's over like 55 million views right now. So that was really helped
What?
them out. what's selling on the table. But they want to do something now that's different because the first set, they wanted something that was very synonymous with tabletop gaming, right? Everybody thinks of the dungeon tile.
Hmm.
So that was really good. And it was good, when you see it visually, if you know anything about tabletop gaming or Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, you think, oh, that's what that's for. Now they want something that just is like mind blowing. So when I was down there, we brainstormed and I opened my mouth and I tend to do that because I got excited. I said, what if we take my airship and put it inside their largest gaming table they have? And then we made a dragon, a flying fire dragon, breathing fire down on the hull. We had an ice dragon on the rear blowing ice on the back of the ship, hanging off a mountain, floating islands, and then a huge thunderstorm covering the whole bottom of the table with literally lightning rippling through the entire cloud system while this battle's going on. And they said, we love it. We want it. So I'm working now with Wormwood Gaming and I'm putting all of this together with the help of David from Terraintronics. He's going to help me out with the electronics. And then none other than the man who painted that mast, that dragon head, Sam Lenz.
Ooh,
I
okay.
have both
Ooh.
I have both dragons sent to him, and he's painting both of them for this diorama. So I am extremely excited to have him as a part of this project as well. So,
Yeah, I mean the man is a legend in his own right.
oh man, unbelievable. So I'm gonna do a video. My first one's gonna be the floating islands, how to make those. They're really cool. There's a cool wormwood component that I'll
Hmm.
save for the video when it comes out.
Fair, yeah.
So we'll have the floating islands video. We're gonna have a video on how to do the cloud setup over the whole table, and then another video on the literally the rolling fire that's gonna come out of these dragons' mouths. It's gonna be like nothing you've seen before. Dav and I have been working on it now for about a month and a half. At the end of those
Okay.
3 videos, I'm gonna pack everything up, drive it down to Taunton, Massachusetts, and then they're gonna do a whole Warm Life episode on my channel and the diorama. So it's gonna be awesome.
Okay. I mean, I think I mentioned this before when we were talking before the stream, but this should really be on a heavy metal album cover. This sounds absolutely epic.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, that's the thing. That's, something I started um the epic builds on my channel. I've got a few of them. I got the castle, the haunted house,
Oh
the
yeah, that
airship.
yeah, the haunted house was another one. It's let me see if I can find the picture here. It's juggling through a lot of windows right now. Let's
But it's been
see.
a while since I've tackled one of those epic builds because they typically take about a month to a month and a half to make. And it's a long time to be without content on my channel. But, I gotta do things that I enjoy and that I love doing.
I thinking about it, 1 month to build something like this isn't even that long.
Yeah, well, so I have 2 children. I have a day job. I have a part-time job, and then I also um, craft. So for me, it's really hard, and I got to try to find the time to do something that I really love to do. And I get to hang out, I have a Patreon where I hang out with people just like this at night when I'm crafting and making my videos. And I get my whole screen full of people. We're hanging out, we're laughing. And that brings a lot of joy to me when I'm working down here because I'm not just by myself. I get to share what I'm doing with people. Um, but I craft. It's around when I put my kids to bed at night. I tuck them in and then I come down here around 8:30, 9 o'clock and I craft. I used to craft until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and that was just too much
Yeah, I would
because I
imagine
got to
so.
be at work at 6:30 in the morning. I'm older, like I said. So now I come down here 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I'll craft until about 10:30, and yeah, that's when it happens.
Yeah, but it's good to keep that momentum going, even if it's just a little bit every day.
I see Dungeon Matrons asking about using the builds on the gaming table. Yeah, I don't know if you have Instagram, but if you don't, head over there and check me out on that because I post a lot of content and reels that you don't see on YouTube. And a lot of it's behind the scenes, or it's me hanging out and using my content in my gaming sessions. So you can actually see a lot of my crafts, like the haunted house. I've actually been using that a lot on Instagram because we're playing Curse of Strahd, and obviously it's
Ooh,
coming in handy big time for that. So yeah, definitely go over there and if you want, follow me and you'll see all that kind of content being used, the airship being used, and all kinds of stuff. It's really neat.
I mean, terrain really elevates the game, and with all the stuff that you've been building, that it must be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, I played D&D a long time ago. Got out of it for a little while when I was in college, and then my buddies got together. We got together one night, and we said, "Oh, let's play some Hero Quest." The friends that were in my original group, their theater of the mind was lacking a little bit. So the whole plan was to create some things that would be fun on the table and more of a board game setting. So it's kind of what kicked that off. So yeah, I plan on using everything. The only thing that I've made that I have not used in a game session, believe it or not, is my Coliseum. And I
Seriously,
really want to use it so bad.
I mean, you have not managed to use that one yet?
No, I haven't.
Ah, because I mean, look, it's been a while, but it's still amazing.
Yeah,
I was looking back through the pictures you sent me. I remember watching this video a long time ago, and I had forgotten you had done this.
yeah. That's another thing about talking about my Instagram. If you go there, I actually was in Italy this past September, and while I was over there, I met up with Gerard Boone,
Hmm.
and I got a really cool picture of me, Gerard, and Giuliani hanging out in front of the Coliseum over there. So that's the kind of cool behind the scenes stuff that I post to Instagram that you don't see on YouTube. Thank you, Questboard. I saw your comment. Appreciate that.
Scott Sarkincraft is also saying that you've been a great inspiration to him to him or her as a crafter.
Hey, Scott, how's it going? Scott's a good guy. Scott, whenever I'm on, so Scott's a patron of mine. Whenever I'm on streaming at night, hanging out, he's always on there and a pleasure to have. Actually, if you go to my Instagram again, my last reel, you'll see Scott in the background hanging
Aha.
out. I'm talking to him while I'm crafting.
Okay, let's see. I'm just checking out. 1 second. There we go.
One of my favorite dioramas.
Oh yeah, I mean, so you were talking about fire earlier, so it's going to be a different technique from this because this already looks amazing.
Yeah, so this is a really cool piece because this has to do with like I get an idea in my head and I really want to have it the way I picture it. And I searched and searched and searched online for miniatures that looked like that and
Hmm.
could not find anything. It's very specific. So I reached out to Tiger Skull RPG, Alex over there, an amazing digital content creator, and he came up with all these pieces that I was able to incorporate into this diorama. So you can follow him; he's online everywhere. But yes, as far as the lighting effect, that looks really great. I love that. That was my first time ever making that flame effect, but it's a static flame effect. What David and I are working on is literally going to look like flames are rolling out of the dragon's mouth and rolling up onto whatever it's attacking. It's very dynamic.
Okay, I'm definitely looking forward to see that.
Yeah. Me too.
Okay,
I
so
tried to get Dav to fly down in a week or so to help me out with that, but he's got a lot going on like we all do. So he's sent me a bunch of stuff. Actually, in that box on my table over there are the
mhm.
electronics for that board. So I'll be getting to work on that probably later this week.
Okay, so Dungeon Matron is saying Gerard is the sweetest person. He is.
Oh
And
yeah, great guy.
Jack Cleveland is saying, hi Jack, by the way, time for the players to get kidnapped and sent to the gladiator pits of the Colosseum.
I know. Need to get hijacked, right? We throw him on my airship. We'll get used out of that. Fly him into the Coliseum. Yeah, I like it. It's a good idea. The cool thing with the Coliseum is it's just an impressive piece, but all the statues that are around the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Reaper Miniatures sponsored me for that, so they sent all those to me.
Okay.
But if you create something like that, those are all magnetized in there. Those all come out. So it's a really cool piece to put at the center of your game table and just leave it there. And you can put all your really cool painted miniatures around the whole thing.
Oh, like kind of a display. Oh, yeah, that would be
That's
really
why I did it like that. Yeah. Yeah.
nice. Okay. So I had a question because you incorporate a lot of things like fog and lighting
Yep.
effects in your builds, but do you plan them for the gaming table? Because I mean, for example, I'm guessing that the fog would be a bit annoying in the when you're playing, no?
No, we use that definitely. So anybody that's played Curse of Strahd, the mist or the fog is a very predominant thing in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a couple fog machines that we placed around the table, and when we're playing, yeah, we'll turn them on and use them for sure. Yep. And all these miniatures right here. So I loved all the old school movies, right? That's all these were done by Tiger Skull RPG as well. It was a collaboration we did last year. Actually, it ended in when was it? Yeah, it was last year. Really amazing miniatures that he made, but where's I going with that? I don't even know. Oh yeah, now I was gonna say the another source of inspiration for me was the old Jason the Argonauts movie or Clash of the Titans. I love those movies growing up. So I told Alex, I said, I need a bunch of skeletons that look like they're from that movie. So that's what he tried to go with here. The one skeleton on the bottom left, just over my logo, I love that one. It just reminds me so much of the skeletons from that movie.
Uh, this one over here.
Yeah. I know it's kind of obscured a little bit, but
I mean, it's kind of got that hoplite shield kind of thing going for it, yeah, and the leather strap.
yeah.
So, do you also do other stuff for atmosphere when you at the table apart from fog machines, like lighting, or I imagine, or background music? I think.
Yeah, so my brother, what's it called? Something Bard. It's an app online, and my brother uses it. It's a very dynamic thing where you can tell it, I want traveling through a forest, and then you can, if you want it to rain, you can slide a slider and adjust how much rain is coming down. You can then say, I want a battle to start, and the music will turn to more of a battle music in a forest. So it's really neat. I can get it to you. I'll talk to my brother, and maybe if there's like a post chat or something, you can post it in here. But
Sure.
he uses that. My brother's an amazing DM. Um, yeah, he'll use lighting when he can. We always have candles going when we're playing. Firelight Fables Candle Company, they sponsor me, so we always got those things lit everywhere. But honestly, sometimes I have to get on my brother because I make these things that have such cool lighting, like the haunted house or whatever, or my wagon that I've made has
Mm-hmm.
little lights and the lanterns, and he'll put it on the table and he won't use the lights. I'm like, come on, turn them on. It's just one switch.
Right, actually, that makes me think, since you're not the person actually jamming, how do you work that out between you and your brother? Because I know a lot of people are in that situation in the chat, and it's like, how do they, either as a non-crafting DM who wants to ask a player to build something without spoiling anything, or the other way around?
Yeah, so we know that, everything spoils for me because I'm building it all, you know. So we try to like if you need something for a game session, a lot of the Strahd stuff, he'll ask me to work on it or build it. And don't show the guys. A lot of the guys that I play with, obviously they're watching the channel. If something's coming out that we're going to use in a session that's coming up, I might say, hey, look, don't watch the video that's coming out on this date. Who knows if they're doing it? Again, this is going to be something that's going to be used in a very upcoming session on the table, the Creeping Hut. So hopefully we live through it. I don't know.
Okay, let's see. I'm
The last
looking.
session that we had that we played on,
Hmm.
we had a whole bunch of us. We had to go into a werewolf den. Spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't played Strahd. Sorry, but we had to go into a werewolf den, and we're sneaking in there. And we have this one player in our group. If he's watching, you know who you are. And he just bum rushes Leroy Jenkins, if you know that saying,
Yeah.
into everything. And man, we were gonna sneak in there in our last game session. He yelled out and screamed, and every werewolf in that den attacked us, and we all almost died. So I don't know.
Okay, it's an interesting strategy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hog tie him before the next session.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably just gag him as well, just in case.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking at this dungeon piece here.
Yep. The catacombs.
Hmm. So,
Again, that's minus the zombies in there. All of those skeletons were also created at my request by Alex from Tiger Skull RPG.
oh, okay, so they're designed specifically to go on walls or what have you. Nice.
Yeah, I told him I was going to work on some catacombs and I needed a bunch of skeletons like chained up or laying down or whatever. And yeah, he just designed all those.
Okay, and I see
And
you've got.
that's part of the fun too, because I never know exactly what he's going to create, so I have to try and fit those pieces into whatever I'm building.
I see you've also got some lights going in this. Even it looks like a modular piece, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I mean, the wall is not
Yeah,
part of the tile.
all of the walls come off. They're all magnetized to the floor. Excuse me. And on that piece of the torch, on the opposite side of the wall where you can't see,
Hmm.
on the other side of that opening, there's also a torch. So I hollowed out both sides of that wall and I ran the wiring up and around into the other side. So there's one switch on the bottom. You just turn it on and both torches come on.
Aha. Okay. And the battery
Yeah.
or power supply is in the wall itself.
It's right, it's shoved up right right in the bottom right
All right.
there. I think it's one or two CR 2032 batteries. They're my favorite. When I'm ever working with David, he always tells me, look, the power supply, it's got to be big, it's got to be large. And I say, it's got to be small, it's got to be tiny. Because, we work with small things. And, you know,
Yeah. And
that's a good segue into this. I'll show you this right here.
okay, one sec. Let me just switch over to your view. There we go.
So this is the piece right here of David's products. I don't have the USB power bank with me, but this little star battery, star light, I should say,
Hmm.
is extremely bright. And that's attached to a big power brick that just gets shoved up into the bottom of this.
And you've got space for
So
that in
there's
there.
times when what's that?
I said, which is great, which is fine because you've got the space for it in there. It's empty space anyway.
Yeah. Here's another. Now, this comes out, so it's playable. So you can put this aside and you can just play with the building if you don't need a creeping hut, right?
Hmm.
Again, modular is another thing I love, working in layers and modularity, because it took a long time to make that. So now we can just have a house in a town or a village, or you can put on the creeping legs. But the neat thing here, if you can see that fire,
Yes. Oh.
right? And that's just powered by this power bank right here. This not power bank, this CR 2032 pack.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, how did you decide to start using electronics? I mean, what triggered it?
And well, so again, back in the day, for me, electronics was something I was definitely hesitant, like a lot of people are, because it can be a little intimidating, I guess. Looking at something like this can be intimidating, what I showed earlier.
Hmm.
But I did a very simple LED torch video where you take an LED light and you just slide like a coin slot that CR2032 battery to the back, and it would make, it would glow. And it was a very easy, convenient, fun way of having some light on the game table. Maybe a year into the channel, David started following me. He reached out to me and said, "Hey, look, I got this cool product called the Conway board that revolutionized the way I do lighting on my projects." His Conway board is extremely easy to use. It allows you to adjust the brightness of up to 4 LEDs, and it still runs on that CR2032 battery pack. So it's very tiny, and it allows you to run a lot of light in your craft. So, and then from there, it just kind of snowballs. David's always come out with some crazy new product to turn things on and off. Here's another cool thing right here. If you can check the camera out real quick.
Okay, coming up.
David's got this. Oh, we can talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
Um, but here's a flame, a green flame that comes out of the Hag's Hut. And in the bottom is a reed switch. It's a new board. David names all of his boards off of castles from, I think it's England. Scott might know. Scott in the
Wales,
comments
I
let me
think.
know that.
Welsh castles. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all different. But what's really cool is there's a magnet in the top of that chimney. So when you place this on top, the smoke lights up. A very easy, fun way of adding light to your models or whatever that doesn't require running wires everywhere. It's
Yeah.
just tiny little thing. So
Yeah, I know that Mike from Net One Videos had, after the first video where I had used those, I mean, it blew his mind and he started putting them into everything.
oh yeah. Yeah. It's a great product. It's fun, it's easy, they're easy to use.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm still from the old school of gaming. It's like I don't like moving parts in my terrain. I don't like switches and lights, but I do appreciate them when I see them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about, working with OSL effects and getting your lighting effects from paint and all that. But, maybe there's times where, I'll come back to something like this. This is just an example, but all these lights, the window lights up, the door lights up on here. And it's a fun aspect of gaming because a lot of times things happen in the background while players are discussing things.
Hmm.
The DM might have a timer going in his head or behind the DM screen, where if you don't act fast enough, something happens. So maybe this is just this little hut that we're all deciding on how we're going to attack it or investigate it. And all of a sudden, you've taken too long. He throws a switch and the smoke comes out of the chimney. All the lights light up. Now your
That,
players are getting nervous, and then
yeah,
it transforms and it goes on top of the creeping legs. So, yeah,
yeah, that's absolutely going to get attention.
yeah,
So Dungeon Matron is saying, I wonder if that could be used with a small speaker to make a noise.
it's possible. That's a great question for David.
I think he did make some things. He definitely made some builds that vibrate, and I'm guessing possibly a small speaker would be. I'm sure he could figure it out if he hasn't already.
Oh, we've been talking about all kinds of crazy things, making things move with a laser beam. I mean, absolutely mind-blowing stuff that David comes up with.
Ah, thanks, Scott. So Scott is saying that Duffet is working on sound with his reed switches on other products. So yeah, awesome.
Awesome.
And Quizbortain is saying, I got the magnet switch. I want to see if I can work it onto the transportation build. That would be very cool.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot to be said that could be done with those too.
Okay, and Earthman Brick says, it certainly doesn't hurt to have a spectacle piece that captures the player's imaginations. For sure.
Yeah, we use these to enhance the gameplay, right? I mean, Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of these games can be played sitting on a couch. So,
Yeah, but I mean, speaking for myself, for example, I really like my miniatures, so there's that as well.
mm.
Okay, going back, I think
So
this was
that's a
the.
very,
This,
yeah, that's a very special build for me. So I came up with this idea one day while I was cutting out bricks that I did not want to do that anymore.
I hear you.
So I was like, there's got to be a way to make bricks that look like they're individual, but they're not. And I came up with this idea, and I hit up Gerard, and he's like, I love it. And so we've created this. You can buy this off of my website or on shiftinglands.com. And it's a way of cutting a solid block of foam and just scoring it with that jig. And then it allows you to wrap it around something, creating large grout lines, which you can fill with plaster. Or if you're creating a flat wall,
Hmm.
the grout lines, you just turn the heat up on your Proxon to make the grout lines wider.
Oh, okay.
And it just does an awesome job at creating stone. I did that whole build in about, well, in one session, I bricked the entire thing.
Nice. Yeah, I'm still the kind of idiot who does it brick by brick.
Yeah.
So yeah, definite time saver there. Ooh, hello.
Mm. That was a miniature that was designed by uh, Ghostfire Gaming for one of their modules, and they asked me to see if I could recreate something, and I chose that one right there. So those are a bunch of bones from the Scattered Remains collection from Tiger Skull RPG, and I actually have an entire video just on how to make that mini right there.
Think I see some these piece of wood or twigs or something like that.
No, I sculpted that
Oh,
out
okay.
of I think brown stuff,
Nice.
not green stuff, but brown stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I think this is your potion shop, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That's,
And again, this is one of those things where, as a crafter, we get an idea and we hope it comes out the way we think it should in our head. So I was going through and I just kind of started sticking pipes on these vats and figured it'd be kind of cool if it looked like he blew a hole in his roof. So I put some patchwork on the roof and yeah, just kind of had fun with this one. I this one I was really happy with the way the stone turned out on it too. It came out really nice.
that's a good looking effect. Remind me, I think you had made this modular as well so that you could take off the boilers or something like that and put something else in. Not sure if it was this build or another one.
So that one's set up so that there's a smoke machine in there, obviously. That one, I don't know if that one's has a playable interior. It's out in the other room, but I don't believe I made that one so that you could just had an opening in there so you could fit the smoke machine.
No, I think I might be thinking of a different build, but I think it was set up so that you could swap out some pieces and it was a potion shop and a brewery or something like that, or two different buildings anyway, just by swapping out the parts.
Um, I probably I can't think right now.
Okay,
Hmm.
and this good.
I love that picture.
I really
Yeah.
like the sandstone color on these ones.
Yeah, thanks. So if you go back to that real quick, that was a really cool example of trying to find a way to make things fit when you
Mm-hmm.
kind of get what you're given. So Alex designed that skeleton and he's lunging, but that lunge was perfect and fit exactly the way, and it wasn't even planned that way.
Okay.
Fit right over the crack of that door, like he's kind of creeping out with that little light in the back. I love that picture.
Yeah, it reminds me of one of those of the classic painting. I forgot for which D&D module it was, but it was a second edition one, and it's basically a skeleton coming through the door, which very reminiscent of this one.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. More smoke machine.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit more recent build. This was a Dungeons and Lasers video that I did to incorporate some of their tiles. So the entire perimeter around the top of that pit is their tiles,
Okay.
and I worked those into foam. So there's a smoke machine in that left bank, and it just comes out and fills. It just makes a fun obstacle for players to have to traverse and not fall into.
I mean, it does a bit of movement to the table as well, because it's not just a static thing, it's got that stuff flowing. Oh, hello.
Yep. Mm. Yeah, this is more of like I think this is my Rivendell. I called it a Rivendell inspired statue. Um, I love the fall look, crisp leaves, kind of, yeah, it's a favorite one of mine. And it's a simple build too. I think I got that one right over here.
Oh, lovely. What do you use for the
And this is,
leaves?
yeah, and I think I might have left batteries in this. Oh, I did.
Yeah, there you go.
So the cool thing here, and I should have recessed them and I didn't, but there's two lights in the top.
Okay.
And when it's dark, well, you can actually see it here. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out here. I'm working like
Okay,
backwards with
to your right, there you go, center. Perfect.
you see it flashing on the statue in the
Yeah,
middle.
yeah, nice.
Yeah,
And yeah, you're not going to get that flickering with OSL.
right. And then, some doves on the roof. And this one has the David's Conway board in the bottom.
Nice.
So you just turn this little white knob right here.
And that controls all the lights, right?
Yep, it controls the brightness on all of them, which is really neat. And then just incorporating stuff like I use Hearst Arts mold for the roof on
Uh-huh.
that. So that's all plaster. I just started working with, I used to work with Hydrostone a lot. I got it from free from my local orthodontist office.
Oh, all right.
Um, and I ran out of it and I reached out to Garrico, who they make Merlin's Magic plaster. And I did a recent video with that. They loved it. They actually promoted it. And um, they sent me a whole bunch more. I'm a fan of it. It's a really nice product. And they want to have a meeting with me this week coming up to help promote
Oh, nice.
and market Merlin's Magic more than they have. So that'll be an interesting conversation. But yeah, everything when it comes to crafting, I like to incorporate as much as I can. And I got to be honest, I was very skeptical a couple of years ago when everybody started talking about the 3D printing. And, you get the group of people that say, don't use the 3D printer, it's not crafting. Some people that say, don't use this, don't use that. I say use whatever you want. Because no matter what, this is all crafting, whether you're just working with Pringles cans and cardboard, or if you're printing little bits and pieces off your 3D printer or plaster. It's all just kind of making something out of nothing, and creating a vision that you might have and, seeing what it's going to turn out to look like when you're done, which is kind of
Absolutely.
the really exciting part for me.
Absolutely. Okay, a question about this build. What are you using for the leaves on the ground? Dungeon Matron said it might be birch leaves, but I have no idea.
Yeah, the birch seeds, they're these guys right here. Green Stuff World,
Oh, okay.
natural leaf scatter.
Nice.
And I got the same thing in brown, but I also use this product from them. They're micro leaves, which are a little bit more to scale. They're a lot smaller. I'm a fan of those too, but yeah, these are great.
Nice. Okay, one second. Let me figure out where I am. I just got lost on my own desktop. Ooh, oh.
Yeah, you can see how that big window lights up.
I mean, the models are great, but you've also got the knack of photographing them at the just the right angles and with the right lighting.
I take a lot of photos and more than I need to, trying to get like the good shot. You spend all this time making something and it's got to try and impress online, to get all the views and stuff. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's
um,
worth spending the extra few shots
oh,
to get it right.
definitely, definitely. That window right there in the middle,
Hmm.
I drew that out on a piece of paper and something close to that and sent it off to Gerard and he kind of finished off the design for me. Since then, I now have a laser cutter here from X Tool, and I went and I designed that door, and where the individual lines are for those slats are those literally go all the way through the door. So if you look like to the left, when you have that lit up, you can see green coming out through the door. It's
Oh,
really
okay.
neat.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
Ah. Ooh, and I see what you were saying about the layers of texture earlier, because you've got the tiny roots, the grass, the mud, rock.
Yep.
I mean, there's always something for the eye to find out.
All the time. Yep. And one of the big things I always talk about is layers. So like if you zoom in on that front left leg,
Yeah.
right? So you look at the greenery right there, and you can see one, two, three, four, five different types of 4 or 5 different types of plants I put there, right?
Yeah.
A little green tuft, a bright green, a brown, a tall light green, and it's those clusters of layers, whether it's color or height or whatever, that makes it a little bit more appealing to look at. I could have just put one green tuft there, but that cluster enhances it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it is such a small area of the whole thing, but it doesn't feel like it's been left out or whatever. Because
Right.
yeah,
Yep.
nice. Okay, John, we're closing in on the hour, so before we continue, would like to have a look at the submissions in Discord, see what came up.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it.
Okay, let's see. Here we go. So we've got some items from Questboard Terrain. I think I'd better open this in a
Yeah, cool.
browser, make it a bit easier. Here we go. Okay,
Oh yeah. I've got those minis too. Very nice.
so I've got a lava pool thing going here.
Yeah, that's cool. I like all the different little pockets where it's leaking out from.
Yeah, rather than just having one big flow, yeah? The other thing I really liked about this one is the how playable it is, because it's all got all these tiny ledges. So there's always somewhere
Yeah.
to put miniatures.
Yep, that's awesome.
Okay, I think this was the same build, just with this giant coming out of the lava pool.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, is that like a UV light on there, or what's making that look blue?
I have no idea, but Questboard Terrain, if you're still in the chat, let us know, because I I know I watched this video, but I totally forgot how you got the color change going.
It's a cool effect. I like it.
What I do remember is that the giant was a Star Wars action figure that's been heavily
Oh, okay.
modified.
Yeah. See, then that's what I'm talking about, having modularity or being able to add things to your crafts,
Hmm.
right? It's a perfect example of, maybe the players didn't take out all the cultists in time, and now they've summoned this creature to come out of this pool. I
Yeah,
love that.
exactly. And this is literally a case of dropping the action figure onto the piece.
Right.
Okay, let's see. Okay, yep, there we go. So I think this was one of an underwater scene.
Yeah, I say we got plenty of color going on here. Oh, I like that eel. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I've seen this before, but I had not noticed that.
I love how they got the fish bones leading up to the center of that cave. That's awesome.
Oh, okay. So Chris Bartani is saying that the color change was a Conway board with two different colors of LEDs. Nice.
Awesome.
Okay, let's see. Where were we? I send yeah, various dollar store skeleton parts.
Oh yeah, yeah. They sell it. That's good.
Okay, let's see. Next up. Okay, so this is a work in progress. So, if I understand correctly, she's building this for a crafting challenge we have going on our Discord at the moment, and the team is
Okay.
transportation. So, got this giant sea snail kind of thing.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, I love the I don't know what it's called, the ribbon that's going around there. You see that on the snail, it comes out and it's all so it helps it move. I think that's what that is, right?
I would guess so, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, I see that David joined us. How are you doing, man? We've been talking about you a lot.
There he is.
Okay, okay, so a kind of
Another
pla
underwater piece, maybe, or a
uh,
jungle scene.
possibly jungle. Not sure if I remember exactly where this one was, but oh no, okay. Ah, I see. This makes sense now. That was
Oh,
this.
okay.
That was the same shell
Yeah.
on the snail.
Yep. Coming together. I like it.
Oh, look at all this texture. Okay, Quizboard Train, this is looking great. Thanks for sharing this.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah. Very creative. I like that.
okay. So, John, I think the time is up because I know I've got other things to do. So, thank you again so much for joining us today. Anything else you would like to say before we drop off?
Yeah, no, I mean, thank you very much for having me. So it's fun hanging out and kind of just chatting crafting and kind of reminiscing a little bit about how things began and where things are going. So I appreciate the opportunity to do that and, meet some of your followers. So
It's been a pleasure talking to you. And I will be looking forward to see the things you mentioned in the chat, the builds you mentioned, because they sound so epic.
yeah, I hope so. That's the plan anyway. So we'll see.
Okay, thank you
All
again,
right.
and have a lovely day and week. And thanks to everyone for watching. Bye.
All right. Take care. Thanks for watching.